Hi, this is Joseph Bradley, and I'm so excited to talk to you with my first video cast talking about digital business in plain English. You know, there's so much stuff about technology, so much stuff happening in the world today. If you're a business entrepreneur, or you're a business leader, or you're a product manager, or you're a realtor, or you're a sales professional, what do? What are the things you should be focusing on when you think about digital business? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to break things down, make them in plain English, and at the end of the day, show you how to extract value from digital business. Let's start with understanding what digital business is. Let's just break that down for a minute. Okay. When you think about the word digital, what that really means is the ability to go from data to putting it in some usable format. That means data to information. And then being able to take action on that. That means taking information to insight. So that means taking data that's raw, moving it to information so now I can do something with it, I can understand it, and then driving home and applying insight so I can take action. The second part, business, which is the part that most people forget. Business is the ability to do something that creates value, right? We're not doing this to sit here and just talk and pontificate about the world or think about what could be. We're here to create business value, i.e. increase revenues, i.e. reduce costs, drive margin to the bottom line. So when you think about digital business, it's just that. It's the ability to create business value by moving from data to information to insight. Right? That's what digital business is. That's what it's all about. That's what we're trying to do. So let's talk about what are some of the three things that I think are the biggest implications of digital business that I want you to be thinking about and have on your mind. And more importantly, what's the call to action for each of those three? All right, let's start off with the first thing I want you to understand is everybody talks about real time. You hear it everywhere. Oh, we got to get this in real time. It's got to be that in real time. Let me tell you. Real time is simply too late. Yes, real time is too late. What do I mean by that? My daughter at the time was 16 years old. I'll never forget it. We had gotten her first car, like a 2006 PT Cruiser, something around there, old used car. And she was getting ready to go on the freeway for her first trip. And you know how 16 years old are. I'll never forget this. She said, "Dad, I've been on this planet 16 years. I know how to drive a car. I know, I don't need your help." Okay, you got it. I passed the driver's test. Okay, you got it, no problem. Gets in the vehicle, in real time on the freeway, what happens? Oil light comes on in real time. What happens 5 seconds later? In real time, blown engine. Did it happen in real time? Did she get the data in real time? Was it information? Sure it was. But there was nothing for her to be able to do what? To take action on it. It was too late. Boom. Blown engine. Real time in today's environment is simply too late. And this happens on and on again, whether you're talking about transporting information, talking about, let's say you're in a vehicle and you're driving along the road and you want to make sure the temperature has to remain the same, right? If you're a truck driver and the temperature drops below, the food spoils, you get an indication light saying the temperature's too low, that's not going to help you. What you want to do is to move to predictability. In other words, in the world that we live in today, knowing what you are going to do is more valuable than what you actually do. Think about it, right? So think about Google and the information they have. They know that I, Joseph Bradley, is going to buy one car. I'm going to buy a car. I'm going to buy a car next 24 hours. I'm going to buy a car next 48 hours. How many car dealerships there are? There's hundreds of car dealerships. Each one of those dealerships is going to pay to know that I'm going to buy that car. Hundreds of dealerships going to pay. How many cars am I going to buy? Just one. How many dealerships are going to pay for that information? Hundreds. The power of knowing what you're going to do, the ability to move to predictability. It's clear. We did a study around the industry's operations index. And the whole thing was understanding and interviewing 1,500 different CIOs and trying to get an understanding of where were they at. Were they okay with were they in the reactive stage, or were they going to move to something proactive, right? To be able to understand what's going on. 80+% said within the next 2 years, they're going to move beyond the reactive stage. In other words, real time is too late. So the first thing you need to do, your first call to action, when you think about digital business, you got to take inventory of your data. Before we go from data to information, insight, you got to know what you got. So you need to think about whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a business leader, think about the data that you have available to you and take inventory of it. Who owns it? Where does it reside? What format is it in? You need to have the key elements to understand what data you possess or have access to. Critically important in your organization to be able to do that. To really, that's your call to action. Before we can get to real time is too late, it all starts with making sure you have a good hold of understanding what inventory you have. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, hear from our sponsors, and we'll come back with the number 2 insight I want you to think about around digital business.
Are you tired of facing the same problems every year? Struggling to achieve your goals, consistently meeting company benchmarks, or growing your business? If so, there is a solution to your problem. Questioneering, Joseph Bradley's new book for innovative leaders who desire to thrive in the digital age. Begin solving your problems by ordering a copy of Questioneering by Joseph Bradley on Amazon today.
Okay, welcome back, folks. Number 2, second thing I want you to think about when we talk about digital business is I'm going to tell you a story about I travel so many miles. I probably travel 300,000 miles a year, easy. 300,000 miles, pretty easy. And I get through the airport security and I'm waiting in line, and they're gonna, within 10 minutes they're gonna board, and I reach down ever so often and I panic because I don't have my Bose noise canceling headphones. Why is that a problem? That's because this beautiful, beautiful young couple, probably 30, 34 years old, beautiful young couple, with these 2 well-behaved kids, age 2 and 4. Well-behaved. Until they get their ticket scanned, they hear that doop, that little sound. That sound triggers a chemical reaction. And that chemical reaction says, where is Joseph Bradley? It doesn't matter if I'm in first class, middle class, back class, man, they gonna find me. And they cannot wait to express their joy about this flight on the back of that seat. In that moment, Joseph Bradley, African-American male, millennial, looking for a pair of headphones is very different than Joseph Bradley, African-American male, millennial, looking for a pair of headphones on the weekend with my son. 2 completely different people. On the first case, I'm going to that kiosk, a nice little kiosk. I'm not gonna buy 1 headphone, I'm gonna buy 2. I want spare batteries. I don't care what it costs. I care about what availability. Give it to me now, right? On the second case, man, I don't want to be shopping that long with my wife. I want the guy at Best Buy or lady at Best Buy to give me all the knowledge they can. Let's have an intellectual conversation about the decibels of this headphone. I want to try it on. I want to kill some time, right? What is different? Context. Context is different. The second thing you got to understand about digital business is context is king. That is why when we think about connecting and instrumenting the world, all these sensors, the point is they're gonna bring and give you context, right? Context, so critically important. That is what helps take data and move it from information into insight, something I can take action on, right? Something I can do something with. Context is so critically important. Okay, we're gonna hear one more word from our sponsor, and we'll come back with our third implication that I want you to really focus on when you think about how to extract value from digital business, plain English.
Is your next event or conference in need of a dynamic and passionate speaker who knows how to effectively engage, empower, and ignite innovative leaders? If so, look no further than Joseph Bradley, author of Questioneering, a guidebook for innovative leaders who desire to thrive in the digital age. Joseph's engaging style, humor, and thought leadership have made him a highly renowned public speaker worldwide. And with more than 20 years of corporate leadership experience under his belt, he is the right speaker for you and your audience. Book him now at josephmbradley.com.
Okay, our third thing that I want you to think about, very simply, is it's a rule that I've called the goodwill effect, named after my grandfather. My grandfather was an incredible man, and he was always about ensuring and giving without any expectation of return. He was truly an incredible leader, incredible person, incredible role model. And he always wanted to give, but he wanted to give direct to the source. He wanted to give to people and loan money to businesses that really had a pulse on what was going on, that were the owners and those leaders direct directly with the community. And here is the lesson that I want you to get from digital business. It says, as you move data and decision making closer and closer to the customer, value improves exponentially. If you think about this, if you want to make decisions in real time, it's too late, and you got to consider everything that's happening, it's sensitive information, you don't have time to make that decision further and further away from the customer. You ain't got time to make that decision in corporate. You want to influence that buying decision, that buying behavior right then, right now. That's what you want to be able to do. So, when you think about how you're going to make decisions and who is going to make decisions, those are the two most important things you got to think about. Who is going to make the decision? Are you going to leave it to people further and further away from the customer? And the second thing is how are they going to make decisions? Meaning, what data are you going to give that individual to empower them to make those decisions, right? How are you going to empower them at the edge to make those decisions? We call that the edge, or edge computing versus cloud computing. Cloud is a great concept, incredibly powerful, changing economics, great concept in digital business, but equally as powerful is the edge, meaning that place which holds true information and true data as close as you can to the customer. So a good way to think about what I'm talking about from a technology perspective is think about an autonomous car. It's driving along a vehicle and it sees a stop sign, someone crossing the road, and you're sitting in the car. Do you want that autonomous car to process that information up in the cloud, wait around, do I got a good connection, and then figure out what's going on? You might hit somebody by then, right? No, you want that autonomous vehicle to process that information in right there in the car, where it doesn't have to go back to the cloud, right? You want it done instantaneously, right? Well, that is the power that I want you to think about when you think about how do you extract value from digital business. It's how do you move decision making as close as you can to that customer. That is the power. That's how you're going to be able to take action and insight. You can't wait to take action and insight weeks and months and weeks later. That's too late then. So let's go back and recap the three things we talked about. Number one, real time is too late, right? Inventory the assets that you have. Tell me the data that you have. Number two, very important, context is king. Ask yourself, what do you know about your customers that no one else does? That is a great point to understand context, right? What context can you gather? Third, the goodwill effect. The ability to take and move and understand that as data and decision making moves closer and closer to the customer, value improves exponentially. All right. I hope you enjoyed this first podcast around digital business in plain English. We're going to do a lot more. We'll talk to you next week. And you guys, hey, keep it up, keep driving value, keep driving business value, and keep focused on the end prize. Have a great, great week. Bye-bye.